Hey y'all, look at that. Nasty. I never get I never get like pimples ever. And of course it shows up in the spot where you're gonna see it the most. Hey y'all. I know the title's weird. It says Tyler Talks is going live. For some reason it keeps titling it that and I just leave it as that. YouTube and their constant change of settings. Hey y'all. Hello. Look at that. That's so nasty. Like I said, I never get pimples. That's something that's very rare. My skin, I was blessed with genes where we don't get crazy skin problems in my family. We don't. I don't think I know a single person in my family that has skin problems. We're blessed with not having to go to dermatologists and everything like that. But of course, one pops up right where you're gonna see it the most. Um, hey y'all. Hello. Champ, you good? I'm good. I'm good. So I'm getting my pool renovated in the fall. The earliest appointment they had, because they're so behind because of summer, was a fall appointment. And so I'm changing my plaster color to like a white and blue, and the tiles are getting changed too. But I have to go in and pick out the tiles at their office. They said they have like a ton of different samples of tiles I can choose from. So Poochie Pooch is going to get renovated. That's my pool's name, Poochie Pooch. So I'm going to renovate. We're going to get that taken care of. There's the girls. I would love to do red tiles. They don't have, well, the thing is, being that I'm already afraid of the pool, because I'm already afraid of sharks in the pool, the last thing I need to do is have a red pool. Believe me, I did think about that. I should have asked, like, do y'all have red coloring for the bottom of the pool? Or to paint it red or whatever they can do? But I wouldn't dare because if I'm afraid of the water as it is, because I thought about this, believe me, I already thought about it. I was like, if I'm already afraid that there's a shark in my pool as it is, then I probably don't need to go for a red pool. So, and so, but believe me, I've thought about that. I'm like, wouldn't that be cool to have a red bottomed pool that when the pool would look like it's blood red? Yes, this is my home. It is. But Poochie Pooch is getting a facelift in September. I think he said the earliest was September. I love how I nickname inanimate objects. But yeah, right there's the problem, right there. The monster. The pool guy came by and he said, I said, yeah, and I have the waterfall on. I mentioned the waterfall. He said, you have a waterfall in this place? I said, yeah. And he goes, where? And I said, right there. And he says, oh, he says, you mean the overflow? Because you don't have no waterfall. I said, well, that's a waterfall to me. The water falls. So that's a waterfall in my opinion. That's the only company I could get to come out to look at it. So, well, thank you, Pavio. Appreciate that. That's a waterfall to me. The water falls. Because he was saying, you're talking about the overflow. I said, well, overflow or not, the water still falls from it. Right now, the water falls off. But um, I keep it off. That way, it filters the pool better. Because when the water falls on, it kind of like messes up the filtration. Not messes it up, but it kind of, um, I wish, Pavio. I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to make it. I was looking at like them like nice big homes. I'm never gonna have that. I think I've come to like the realization I'm never gonna have that big giant house that I want, and I'm okay with it because I love my house now. Don't get me wrong. I'm very thankful for what I have now, but I'm like I'm never gonna have that big giant 15,000 square foot home that I want because it's just like I just know I'm never gonna have it. So yeah, you should visit Vegas. Oh, there's a waterfall. Is that not a waterfall, or am I tripping? He said that's an overflow. I said that's a waterfall to me. He's like, so what waterfall? And I said, I do have a waterfall. He goes, I don't see one on there because I was telling him about things I wanted to add and all this stuff. He said, what waterfall? I said, right there. And he goes, that's an overflow. I'm like, that's a waterfall. You don't hear me and see me? I got my 5G on my AT&T. You know what AT&T now, so it should be good because I have good AT&T service on this property. So, um, but Oklahoma, I did look in Oklahoma at listings. I didn't go in person and look. I looked on Zillow, right? And it kills me how in Oklahoma you can take $1 million and get a big giant estate. But in Vegas, if you took that same million that you can get for a mansion in Oklahoma, you take the same million and you get a basic suburban home. That's so backwards. Because they know nobody wants to live in Oklahoma. What the fuck am I going to do in Oklahoma? Texas has some huge houses for a million too. That's true. Because I think I might have to trade my Vegas lifestyle in for a back roads type of life. If I want that mansion like I want, I'm gonna have to settle for a cheaper state where you can get a cheap mansion. So I'm like, do I want to make that sacrifice? Do I want to get rid of Vegas for? Do I want to get rid of Vegas for a big giant estate? So it's like I'm just kind of weighing because I still look at houses all the time on Zillow all the time. I was on there this morning. Um, even in Atlanta, you can't get anything really big for $1 million. So my home state, I can't even get a mansion for a decent price. But it kills me because when I set the filter to Texas and Oklahoma, the houses are giant. Like I saw one that was like 9,000 square feet for like 1.2 million. I mean that's pretty decent. And I qualify for I think when I had applied for a house because I kept it cheap, right? Which 600,000 is not cheap by any means, but I'm making a point because when I had first applied for a loan before I switched the bank, I was like, well, how much do I qualify for? I'm thinking they're going to say 600,000, right? So they came back at me, and he says you qualify for 1.2 million, or it was like 1.1, 1. He says with your salary, you could get a jumbo loan, and I said, oh, I cannot. I said, I can't. I, at the time, I'm thinking I just want a decent house. I didn't really care about because I had never owned a house, so I don't really have standards. No, I didn't have standards, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, all I need is a good 600,000 to get a decent property here in Vegas. I don't want no $1 million loan. And so when they came back to me, they said, well, you qualify because I think it was like I had applied for it. We did a credit check, all that good stuff. And I submitted my salary, proof of my salary. And they came back at me and they said, you qualify for 1.2 million. He said, no, I think it was more than, if I'm not mistaken, he says you could qualify for 1.2, 1.3. It was like 1.2, 1.3 million. And I remember being shocked by that because I'm thinking, wait, how do because I've known people that have applied for places and all they literally could get from the bank was like maybe 150,000 to 200,000. And I'm thinking, wow, my credit's that good and my salary's that good to where I can qualify for that. So I was like, wow. And so I was very shocked, but I was very smart. I'm very smart with my money. People don't realize I'm very smart with it. because I was like, I don't want to take that risk. Because believe me, I wanted to go look at those $1 million properties just to see what I could have. I was like, no, Tyler, you're going to stick with something sensible, if that's the word, and practical. Like, you do not need to be going around getting $1 million homes, right? So I was practical, you know. Um, but uh, this house is a mess. It's got to be, I know I say that every live, but it's got to be cleaned. It's got to be cleaned. Where y'all at? You're probably tired of hearing about me. You're probably saying, we're tired of hearing you talk about yourself. What the fuck else am I going to talk about, folks? Jesus, get out of your ass, all right? Get out of your ass and leave me alone. You're probably thinking right now, Tyler, nobody said nothing. You're arguing with yourself. Well, I know what you're thinking, all right? I'm not stupid, you know. I wasn't born yesterday. So, um, is that going? Yeah, I got the white head is going. So, and I get so mad when I see like them listings like for them big giant estates. I'm like, I want one so bad because I don't want nothing else in life. I like, you know, because everybody's goal in life is to have kids or have a wife or have a husband. You know, everybody's different. My goal, I don't care. I ask God this. If God, you're listening now, I don't care about any of the other parts of my life. I'll be single if I have to. I don't care. Just get me that big giant estate that I want. Help me get that big giant estate and pay one off. Ugh, you know, where I want to travel next. I want to go to the Netherlands. I want to go to the Netherlands. The Netherlands. New Jersey, New York, Houston. No, I haven't had really any experiences lately. None at all. None at all. At all. That's ugly. Looks like a herpes bump, but it's not. It had a white head. I think I scraped the white head off. Ew. Okay then. Where are all the people? Nobody's talking to me. And I have nothing to talk about but myself. I ain't got nobody to talk to. Sitting at home alone. Hey. That's true. People are working. That's why I don't do Tyler Talks that much because it's just no point because I don't have nothing to talk about. The Zeus Network, I love the Zeus Network. I wish the Zeus Network one day does a show where they need me to read the cast members or something like that. I'd love to do Zeus. Favorite John Waters film? I would say Female Troubles. Female Troubles. That's a really good one. And Hairspray is good too. Crybaby, I don't really like that movie. It's kind of lame. You know what I noticed is I'm just so bored lately. No, I don't play Friday the 13th anymore. Like I don't even play the Xbox anymore, barely. You know, I barely even play the Xbox. Yeah, Female Troubles. I would love to see you give famous people reads. That'll happen one day. I mean, I've already kind of given reads to famous people. All right. But it's like, I know there's like this one coming on the pipeline. I feel it. I've dreamed about it. And I wish they would come forward. That way I can stop dreaming about it. But I haven't had that dream in a while, but it used to be so, I just know it's coming forward and I just want to know who it is. So, oh, that's neat, Lady Divine. I wish I was hot. Thank you so much. No meetup is planned. I'm not really sure. I already did, I did Texas. I would say California because I live so close to it. So that maybe the next one. Even already did 2 California meet and greets. Probably Vegas. I'll do one in Vegas for my fellow Vegas people. And I know that I want to do Atlanta at some point, my hometown. So, I mean, what a full circle moment to go do a meet and greet in the town where you were born or the state you were born. So, you're moving from Georgia to California. Just know that you're going to be paying way more for everything. See, Georgia, if you think Georgia, has high prices, which I really, if you're in the rural parts of Georgia, you're not going to be paying a whole lot. When you go toward like Atlanta or Marietta or Kennesaw, it's different. Like, those highly suburban areas, right? But my advice to you is, if you're going to move from Georgia to California, like, be prepared that the money that you have now, or the money that you make, will you're going to be paying way more for everything. When I tell you, I didn't realize that I thought people were exaggerating how much more California was until I tried to live there. And the gas prices are higher, the tax rates are higher. Oh, you're from Cobb. Okay, so you're pretty much in a kind of city area. You're right there in what part of Cobb? Marietta, Kennesaw? Where you at? Cobb is what? Marietta, Kennesaw. I think Kennesaw is Cobb. I forgot. Because I used to live near where you are. I used to live in Cherokee County, which is right next to Cobb. I used to live over in Woodstock and Canton, which is in Cherokee. But just be prepared that money doesn't stretch very far in California like it does, like someplace in Georgia. So let's say you already have the opinion that Georgia's expensive or Cobb County is expensive. Well, take that and multiply it by 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And then, I've moved around, but in Austell. You're near Six Flags then. Austell? You're near Six Flags. Austell's Cobb County? Austell is Cobb County? I did not know that. I did not know that was Cobb County. How far are you from Six Flags? You could walk there? Yeah, you're right near Six Flags. Just know you're on my old stomping grounds. I used to go to that Six Flags all the time. I had a season pass, everything, right? So just know that when you go by Six Flags, that was my old stomping grounds. I used to go there so much. I've rode pretty much every roller coaster in there, like over and over again. Like, I'm sick of Six Flags over Georgia because I'm so used to everything there. Yeah, I actually advise that if you're going to move to California, just know money will not stretch very far. If you think that where you're living is expensive now, you need to like realize that even a shack in California is $1 million. A 1,000 square foot home in LA County or really anywhere in California, you're gonna be paying $1 million for. Okay, in order to get a decent livable house in California, you gotta at least get a $1 million home, and even then you get a shack. I can't count how many times when I was trying to live there, I would get on Zillow and try to find something that was like decent. And I noticed with the budget I had then, because I only wanted to spend like 600,000, even that would get you a shack over in Inglewood. And not even that. Like, you're gonna need at least a good million. There's places there's small homes in Compton that are worth $1 million. Now take that and put that in your pipe and smoke it. If $1 million can only afford you Compton, that's a problem. In order for you to live in California comfortably, where the hills are, and live in the hills or Calabasas, or where's all the places I went? Even in Orange County. Even Orange County is expensive. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is so special about Orange County? Like over there near Buena Park and Laguna Beach and all that. Like Laguna Beach, I can understand. Laguna Beach is beautiful, but I'm just making a point that even trying to live on the outskirts of LA, because that's not LA, Laguna Beach. That's Orange. Isn't Laguna Beach Orange County? That's not LA. Yeah, Laguna Beach is, I believe, Orange County. I believe. I may be wrong because I don't know California like that. But like, there's nowhere you can live in California for cheap at all. You can't find cheap mansions there or cheap real estate there. So just know what you're getting yourself in. I'm not trying to discourage you. You should go for your dreams, but just know what you're in for. That is not a state you can move to that is going to be cheap. So I'm just going to put that out there for the record. Laguna Beach is beautiful. But you're not answering my question. Is it that LA or Orange County? Alexa, is Laguna Beach Orange County?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you repeat your question?
What county is Laguna Beach in?
Laguna Beach, California is located in Orange County.
I was right.
To answer your question,
Yes, I was right. I thought that I do know my knowledge of California. I know it a little bit. Orange County, like when I went to Buena Park, and where Knott's Berry Farm is over in Buena Park, I'm thinking to myself, when I was looking at houses over there, I'm like, this is like a Florida. Let me tell you, don't move to Orange County because that's Florida. When I visited Orange County, it reminded me of Orlando, Florida, because it's flat. There's not much scenery, and I'm thinking this is basically Florida. So I moved away from Florida, which I lived near Florida when I was in Georgia. I moved away from there only to try to move to somewhere that looks like Florida on the West Coast. Fuck that. If I'm gonna move to California, I want to live in California, and what I mean by that is I want to see the Hollywood sign, for crying out loud. I better see the when I go outside my room, I want to see the Hollywood sign. All right, over there in Hollywood. So. And so, reason because I did consider Buena Park at one point, but I said that's basically Florida with just the California name tag. To me, if you go to Orange County, and if you've ever been to Florida and Orange County, those are the same places. To me, yeah, like where Buena Park and Knott's Berry Farm is, that's basically Orlando. That looks like Orlando to me. So there was no. And let me try. Do you know I stayed in Stockton for like 2 nights. Stockton was good. Oh. Because I was going from town to town trying to feel which one. I stayed in Bakersfield for 3 months, not because I wanted to, but it was the cheapest place I could find while I was trying to find a place to live. So I stayed in Bakersfield at the extended stay or extended suite. No, what's that place called? Extended Stay America. I think that's what it's called. So, no. Well, you must not know. You must have never been to California. You must have never been to California because if that's the same fucking thing. Despite the humidity, Orange. Not. I'm not saying all of Orange County, California. I'm talking about Buena Park, particularly. That is basically looks like a Florida with the palm trees, no mountains. But you must have never been to Florida because if you had the comparison, you would see what I'm talking about. So you're not. No, you took me wrong. Like, don't try to correct me when I know what I know. I've been all around the United States. And this is not me trying to be right. This is like literally, I've Buena Park has no mountain scenery. It's flat and it's got palm trees and it has a Florida feel to it. Like most of California has mountains and hills, right? But when I went to Buena Park, it's flat. There's no scenery, no mountains, and I'm like, this is basically just like Florida wrapped in a California package. So believe me, I know what I'm talking about. And now, does California have the humidity Florida does? No. But does it have? Go to Buena Park. Here's just not just you, California frog, for all of y'all. For if you have the means to, go to Orlando or just note it when you go on a trip next time. Go to Orlando, fill it out, and then go to Buena Park, California, where Knott's Berry Farm is, and tell me that's not just Orlando. It feels like another Florida, and that was what bothered me. That's why I kind of got to where, because the only places I could afford in California are the ones that had no mountain scenery. I was like, why am I going to move all the way from Georgia when I can just move to Florida instead? Because some of these places in California look like Florida. Like the places that have, for example, Bakersfield don't have no mountains. Bakersfield was dry, no scenery. And I'm like, and I remember I was upset by California. California was upsetting to me. So, very upsetting. Now I will say Florida's weather is totally different than California. Florida's all about humidity, sweating, whereas LA, or California always has good weather. Not Florida, not Florida. So that's the only difference. But take your ass to Orlando. Take your ass to Orlando and fill out Orlando. Not they don't, and then go back to or go and visit Buena Park when you get the chance, and tell me that's not the same thing. It looks just like Florida. So, I mean, call me crazy, but keep in mind I have a lot of comparison. I've been all over the United States. I've been to pretty much almost every state except Alaska, Hawaii. I've never been to those. I've been to a lot. Like there's a few other. I've never been to Seattle or Washington, but I've been all around the world. And I was very disappointed about certain parts of California because I'm like, I can get this in Florida. It's the same look, palm trees, sunny, and that's I can get that in. That's why I just didn't settle for California. I got tired of how overpriced it was, and I just didn't feel like I was getting a bang for my buck. So sorry if I seemed snappy, but I thought you was trying to negate me. Well, you were, but it's like you have to see where I'm coming from. I have. Have you ever been to Florida? And to be honest, California frog. You want to go? You want to debate? Have you ever been to Florida, Orlando particularly? Take your ass over to Orlando. Get the comparison. Well, well, you just trying to buy. You done? I'm done. Okay. All right. Trying to correct me. Don't correct me. I'm giving you my experience. How you gonna sit there and negate my experience? All right. How you gonna sit there and negate my experience? That's my experience, not yours. That's mine. All right. And besides, you been getting smart anyways. So have a good one. I'm so tired of y'all trying to get smart. For some reason, my OGs are just starting to get snappy. And I don't mind a good little bit of debate, but don't sit there and try to make me seem like I'm foolish or I'm stupid. All right. Let me get back to what I was saying. I was trying to make a point to who was that was moving to California? Who was that was moving? Where you at? Lord, I can't believe how much Tyler Talks has expanded. I used to only get like 40 or 50 people at a time up in here. Well, California fog, you're gone. I'm tired of you negating me because you think that you know it all. Buena Park, California is the same thing as Orlando, Florida. All right? Other than the humidity being different, it's the same fucking thing. No mountains, flat, same thing. I can get that in Florida. So I'm tired of people trying to make me look like I'm the bad one. I'm stupid. One thing I'm not is stupid. If I was stupid, I wouldn't be in my position in life right now. So a bit closer, the Bay Area. I've been to the Bay Area, and I was warned to not go there by people that were from California. They said, don't go to the Bay Area, like Oakland and where else is it? Oakland. Like I was told to not go toward that area because I didn't know. I thought Inglewood. This is what kills me. This is why I don't like Californians. They're so freaking weird because they say that Inglewood is the hood. Now, hear me out. Now, hear me out. They say that Inglewood is the hood. Now, granted, it does have a hood feel to it when you go in certain parts, right? But you have to keep in mind where I came from. Where I came from, where the hood in the South are in Atlanta, all right? Um, right, Mimi, right, exactly. Um, okay. Hood from Atlanta means buildings that are got kudzu all over it. You got people running around selling crack midday, doesn't care who sees them. Run down buildings. That's what hood means to me. So whenever I drove through Inglewood, because I drove through Compton, I drove through Watts, I just wanted to get a feel of the place, right? I didn't get out of my car. I wouldn't dare get out of my car. I wouldn't dare. But so then when I went and saw California for the first time and I drove through these hoods, right? I said, bitch, this a hood. If you took this hood over to the poor people in Atlanta, they'd love this. Oh my God, that's not no hood. I mean, it's hood in the definition that it's got there's some shady characters and some seedy people. I get it. I get what they're saying when they say this is the hood, like Compton, Watts, or and I drove through parts of Compton that look beautiful, and I'm thinking these fucking West Coast ass Valley bitches are calling this the hood because when I thought hood, I thought they meant vines growing all over the building, like buildings falling down, people living in huts. I'm thinking it's like gonna be like that. And I get over there as manicured lines, and I'm thinking, okay, so they really have a big definition of what hood is. A big different, no, they have a different definition of what hood is because that's not no hood in, in Georgia. Because I got to thinking, I wish I could bring my people from all the way from Georgia and let them see what Californians call the hood. Californians, right? So, but I get what they're saying. I get what they're saying. Bye, Mystic. You're trying to be important. You don't me. All right. I'm in a snappy mood today. Y'all better stop trying to. We can debate on this channel, but don't sit and get smart. To my it's the quality of people. Don't me, because you'll your ass out this room. All right. I'm done tired of y'all getting attitude. Don't try to make it seem like I'm just in a bad mood. Y'all keep like trying to correct me. If you don't feel like what I'm saying is legit, just shut up or get off my chat room. You don't have to sit and agree with anything I'm saying. It's actually the quality of people. Did I not just say, bitch? Did I not just say? I understand what they're coming from when they say this the hood because of the shady people. I understand that. Will y'all stop trying? Will y'all let me talk without being? What are y'all? What's wrong with y'all? And it's gonna make me look bad, like I'm the one just being snappy. No, it's like I'm trying to sit here just making points and stuff, and they're trying to like act like it's not true, or what I'm saying is like I don't have no experience or something. So stop doing that. And you know what? I got some fake ass phony subscribers. Let me tell you. Anytime that I disagree with them or call them out, they all of a sudden will email me and say, "Well, I always thought you were a fat fuck anyway, you fat ass." I blocked somebody. I blocked a few people off OnlyFans, right? And I thought these people were ride or die. I ain't gonna say no names. But then I would block it and they'd send me this email, this long 3 paragraph novel, right? Saying, "Well, I always thought you was a fat fuck anyway, you fat, ugly, and your mama's this and that." I'm like, well, okay. So the truth came out. The fake came out. Okay. If you was a real ass bitch, you wouldn't be sitting there doing that because that means that's what you was thinking the whole entire time you was watching me. But you didn't voice it until I got rid of your ass. See, that is very fake to me. You know what I'm saying? So I find that very fake. So let me get back to my rant about California. So I would just say to that woman that's moving from Georgia to California, just do your research, find a decent area. Like, just know you're going to be paying more to live there. All right. And you're going to be paying more taxes as well. All right. Um, if you, I don't see, like, for example, I'll give you advice. If you don't feel California, if you get there and you don't feel it, go to the sister of California, Vegas, because here we have no state tax. There's no state tax. California's state tax, depending on your tax bracket, can go from 9% to 13%. So that means you're gonna let's say you're on the lowest tax bracket. I don't know you like that. You'll be paying at least 9% extra 9% of your income just to live in California at the end of every year. You're going to own 9%. So if you make 100,000, you're paying 9,000 at the end of the year. If you make 200 or the bracket goes up, I'm just giving you an example. So just be kind of check out California's sister, Nevada. All right. So check that out. Like fill California out, but check out Vegas too. It's right next door. In fact, I can get in my car right now, and in 40 minutes, I'll be at the California line. So actually, hell, on a good day, there ain't really no traffic here, barely, but maybe 35, 40 minutes, I can be in California technically at the line. So keep that in mind. So, because if you make over 100,000 a year, they're going to tax the fuck out of you to live there. So keep in mind, this is what bothers me about people that move to California, especially if you're self-employed, right? Let's say, for example, you owe at the end of the year, you owe federal 35%. Let's just say 35%. All right. Then, if your state charges you taxes too, so let's just say on the lower end, 9% state tax, California. Sometimes it can go up to 13% depending on how much you make. But let's just say 9%. That means at the end of the year, you're going to owe federal 35, and then you're going to owe 9% to state. So that's altogether what? 44% of your income is going to go toward taxes. But if you stay in a state with no state tax, you only owe 35% or whatever tax bracket you in at the end of the year. If you live in one of these states like California, you're going to be owing almost half your income to taxes, 35% federal and whatever tax bracket you're in for the state tax. So nearly 50% of your income is going to go toward taxes. If you go to a state like Florida, or I think Texas has no state tax, and then there's a bunch of other ones, but I know Nevada has no state tax. So all you're going to owe is the federal income. You're not going to owe two incomes. So that's my advice. So just know that. And if you don't fill California out, then try the sister of California, Vegas. You can kind of get a California experience here without the California price tag. So, yeah, yeah. Even in Georgia, I think. Alexa, what is Georgia's state tax percent?
From Taranuma.com, Minister of Finance Omar Malhas said the new law, which will be referred this week to the Parliament, entails increasing the percentage of Jordanians who pay income tax from 4.5% to 10%.
4.5% to 10%. It could go up to something like that. So all I heard. Um, that's crazy. If I lived in LA, if I had the money for LA, I would move to Calabasas because I found that to be very beautiful. Calabasas or Malibu. Malibu's beautiful, but for a shack, you're going to be paying at least 2 million to live there. A shack. That's what killed me about. Go on Zillow right now. Go on Zillow right now and try to set the filter to $1 million and see what you get for $1 million in Malibu. Hell, no listing. There probably won't be any listings that show up because, first of all, the houses go pretty fast in California. People like nab them the fuck up. But to get a decent living space in California or Malibu or anything like, or really any of those nice areas, you're gonna be paying a pretty penny. And what kills me is how small the houses is for a million. You mean for $1 million, all I'm gonna get in a good part of LA, all I'm gonna get is a shack that's 1,000 square feet, but I can come 4 hours away to California or to Nevada. I can come 4 hours away and take that same million that I would get for a shack in California. I can come here and get 8,000 square feet or 7,000 square feet or however much you can get. Because it takes 35 minutes to get to the California Nevada border, but it takes 3 hours and 3.5 or 4 hours to get to LA. But for me to get to the border, it takes like 35 minutes to get to the border. So, and you know what shocked me when I first went out the West Coast was when you leave Las Vegas to go to California, when you hit that Nevada California border, do you know they check your cars for fruit? They don't check it every time. But do you know they stop you? I'm not kidding when I tell you this is, I'm thinking they're stopping to check for drugs. Even my mama saw this. She said, they really do that, don't you? Because she got to experience it. They have an agricultural check, border check. And I'm not kidding. So when you go from Las Vegas to California, they literally you have to drive through this toll thing, or not toll, but it's like a checkpoint. And literally they'll stop you and say, "Do you have any fruits or vegetables in the car?" Like I'm thinking to myself, they're not asking. They didn't ask if I had cocaine, meth, nothing. They said, "Do you have any fruits, vegetables, tomatoes, onions, and like that?" I'm like, "No." And I remember being so shocked by that. I'm like, "What the fuck is that supposed?" There's even one going from Arizona's border to California. Because right there, you know how when you get from Arizona to Needles, California, how you can go from Arizona straight into California if you take a certain route? They even check your fruit there. Because when I went from the border from Arizona to California, they checked for fruits there. So, so it's and I always say this. This is my okay. Here's what shocked me. Now, Bree, listen up. So keep in mind, Georgia is you're either white or you're black. I don't mean to bring race into this, but this is how it is. You're either white or black or a mixture of both. Yeah, we got Asians. You don't see many Asians in Georgia. Like I said, the nail shop, nail salon, all that. What shocked me about California, and this is how stupid I am and uneducated I am, right? Because I even heard a woman on YouTube. She explained her experience from moving from. She's born in LA and moved to Atlanta, and she says I was so shocked that when I got here there was no Mexicans, no Latins. She said I get here and it's only white and black. It's very white and black, and she was shocked by that. And I had the opposite experience. I'm used to where it's white or black or a mixture of both, right? Well, see, that's Atlanta, Empress. I'm talking about my small town. I'm not talking about where you're from. I'm talking about in my small town. It was very white or black, right? It since has a big Latin population, but it was always white and black. That's usually what you really see. You don't see many much of more, right? But now when I go back, it's a lot of Hispanics or Latins, right? So I had the opposite experience of that woman. So I went from this small town in Georgia where everybody's either white or black. There was no in between. So when I went to California for the first time, I arrived at nighttime. So I didn't really get to see a whole lot of people. So I get to LA County the next day after arriving in California. I was so excited. And I was very excited throughout the whole trip. I get to LA and I start noticing a theme. I was like, wait a second. Something's different. I can't put my finger. I started noticing, and then I went to Six Flags Magic Mountain, right? So when you go like to a place that gets a big crowd, a large crowd, you start to see the demographics of a place. Like whoever's visiting there, you'll see the demographics. And I look, brown over there, brown over here, behind me brown, in front of me brown, the ride operators brown, the visitors brown. And I started looking. I said, wait a second. Where are the white people at? And I looked, I'm like, where are my black folks at? Where's my black folks? Because I'm looking around and I'm seeing Dora and Diego. And this is not to be demeaning. I'm just, I said, wait a second. I said, something's, because I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I was ignorant. I was very ignorant. Because, like I said, Georgia, where I came from, even that woman in the video, I wish I could find a video. It was this woman. She said she was born in LA and she finally decided to move with her husband to Atlanta. And she was shocked how many there was. She said there was no Latin people. She says where I come from, Latins are everywhere. She said when I got off the plane at Hartsfield, she said all I saw was white and black. There was no in between. And she said, not that there's not Latins there, we know that, but she had the opposite experience of me, where she was shocked that it was just like a lot of white and black people. And then when I got to LA, and I'm seeing brown here, brown there. I'm driving through the neighborhoods, and everybody's Hispanic or Latin. I said, "What a second! Like, where's the white people? Where's the black people?" And I was very shocked by that, and I didn't know it was like that. I had no clue. I thought when I arrived there, this is what my perception of California was before I arrived in LA. Right? I thought that it was going to be mostly white people, but then you have your black people speckled in here or there. Right? That's what I thought. And I'm so stupid. I feel ignorant and stupid and uneducated. I really do. I was so shocked by that. And then my friend let me know what time it was. She said, Tyler, this used to be Mexico. She said, what are the names here? And I said, what do you mean? She said, what are the, and I even realized, she said, name some of the names. I said, well, San Francisco, Los Angeles. And it started to click. I said, San Jose. Okay, I'm noticing the thing. San Diego. Then it all started clicking. I'm like, oh. I was like, oh, I get it now. I get it. I get it. Because like I didn't get that. Because it was a culture shock for me. You have to get that in mind. Because in my small town, it was just white and black. And the white and blacks had a lot of tension with one another. And I lived near Cummings, Georgia. I lived near Forsyth, where the whole town was white until some black people moved in. They was on Forsyth County, Georgia, near where I'm from, literally was on the Oprah show for not having any black residents. Look it up. It's all, you can look it up. So I was born in an area where it was either white, you were either white or you're black. There was no in between. Now, since they've had more of a Latin population, but back then they didn't. So I was so shocked. I remember being just shocked, and everybody spoke Spanish. And I was like, okay, this is different. Okay. And then when Judy pointed out, she said, Tyler, what are the names of these places? She wasn't being smart. She was trying to educate me. And she said, think about the names. And I started to say San Francisco, San Diego. I didn't even know that was Spanish. I just thought that California had some very eccentric names. That's how fucking stupid I was. That's how fucking stupid I was. Like, because I was like, oh, I always just thought eccentric names. I didn't know that was like derived from Spanish. I didn't know that. I don't speak Spanish. All right. So you have to kind of cut me some slack here. And she said, Tyler, if you think about the names, and I started thinking about the names: San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and that right there should have been the biggest clue. Like, hello. So I was very shocked at how brown California was. I was not expecting that, because my perception of California was it was a bunch of big boobed, silicone wearing bitches with blonde hair, and their husbands were like attorneys and lawyers, and everybody had silicone in their face and their titties. All right, their dicks were enlarged by silicone, their booties were enlarged by. That's what I was thinking, and lip fillers and injections, all that. That's what I was thinking, and to get there and everybody's brown with dark hair, tan skin. I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I was expecting. And I actually loved it because I'm thinking to myself, oh, so I'm brown too. So it's like, okay, this is perfect. This is perfect. So I didn't feel like I stand out. But take your motherfucking ass. Okay, bitch, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. 70% are Mexican. What do you mean? Let me tell you something. You California born whores, take your ass to a small town and take your, if you don't believe what I'm saying, for you whores that were born in California, take your motherfucking ass to a rural town in Georgia and see how uncomfortable your ass gets, especially if you're of color. You ain't gonna see nothing but white folks. Take your motherfucking ass to it. Now I'm not talking about no Cobb County, no DeKalb County in Georgia. I ain't talking about no motherfucking any of Lithonia, nothing like that. I'm talking about take your ass to a northern part of Georgia, like Blue Ridge, LJ, anything like that, or even Canton. You're gonna have a bunch of white bread born bitches. All right. So, like, take your way, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Because even that woman that I saw her vlog, where she said, "I moved from LA to Atlanta," and she said I was so shocked because where I was born in LA, she says, all my friends were Latin, all my this were Latin, all the doctors, everything, lawyer, everything. And she said that when she moved to Atlanta, she was so shocked, like culture shock, because all she saw was either white or black, and that's the truth. But you have your Latin communities in Georgia, but they're not as big as they are in California. So, so that was that was shocking to me. I don't know why that shocked me so much. I felt like the biggest idiot for not knowing that ahead of time. I felt like the biggest idiot for not knowing that ahead of time. Biggest idiot. So because to be honest with you, I feel more comfortable around black people. That's all why I've always, even my sister, we was talking about this last time I was done in Georgia. She goes, "Do you feel?" No, I think it was Mama that asked because Mariah had to go. My sister had to go to some baby shower, and it was like a bunch of white people. And she says, "Are you like me, where you like to be? You feel comfortable, more comfortable around black people?" I said, "Yeah." Because she's the same way. I feel so much more comfortable when I'm around black people. Like I feel more at home. But when I go to like white people events or if I have to go to white family, I feel so I feel so uncomfortable. So so bad. I did see the movie Nope. It was actually really good. I really enjoyed that. So are y'all bored by my conversation? I can't wait to get a hair transplant. That way I can fill in this. I can't wait. I don't know what's stopping me now. It's just it's a medical facility, and I hate going to medical facilities. So, right? Only it's like a cult. Once you leave LA and you get to the other part, like the United States, you're gonna realize soon how different it is. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna realize how different it is because it just was shocking to me, very shocking to me. I thought it was gonna be a bunch of bleach blonde, Real Housewives type of bitches. So I'm saying, and I get to California and it's brown. I see like people that look like Jennifer Lopez well, Shakira's more like. I thought Shakira was always white until I realized what is Shakira's race? I know she's Latin, but what is her race? What the hell is Shakira? Who gives a shit, right? But right. And yeah, so that was really shock. I cannot believe that. You know, Colombian. Okay, got you. Okay. I visit my somebody asked me somebody answered me a question, and I think I've asked this to you before. I'm still confused by it. Why there was this one time I was watching. Do you know who Walter Mercado is? Do you know who Walter Mercado, that astrologer guy, right? So I want to visit England one day, Julie. Just stay tuned, right? So I was watching the documentary on Netflix about him, and they live in Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory, right? Well, y'all know that. I don't know why I'm trying to educate y'all. All right. Door, close the door. I'm gonna get to the accents in a second. So I was watching it, and he's based in Puerto Rico, and some of his family members were being interviewed. He was being interviewed, and I noticed something which confused the fuck out of me. When I think Puerto Rican, I think about the look of Jennifer Lopez, or you think tan skin, dark hair. But the people they were interviewing that were from Puerto Rico and that knew Walter personally, there was his family and friends, they were white. So there's white people that live in Puerto Rico. I remember watching it going, who are these motherfucking white people living in Puerto Rico? I was like, who the hell are all these white folks living in because I was like, who are these Europeans living in motherfucking Puerto Rico? That shocked me. That's how stupid I am. So there's white people that speak Spanish that live over in Puerto Rico. I find that so crazy because for some reason mind was always that they were darker, with darker skin, with darker hair. That's what I always thought. And then when I saw that, that kind of educated me a little bit. See how uneducated? I'm stupid. See what I'm saying? I'm a dumb whore. Hey y'all, hey. Now, I want to talk about the different accents amongst the United States. You would think that United States, we would all have the same accent because we're all like around each other. We're not that far from each other, right? Oh my God, Karen, you can't ask why people are white. I know for me. I love that part. Oh my God, Karen, you can't ask why people are white. Okay, so, okay. That is a very Karen moment, isn't it? Lord Jesus, I'm dumb. All right, okay. So what kills me is how, because I've been to all corners of the United States, right? I've been all corners of the United States. And when I went to the north, they talk like this. I'll just get it's more Boston, but that's the only one I can do right the right way. Like I'd go to like a gas station. Or, no, I'll go to like a drive through at the in Boston, not Boston, but in like Massachusetts, even in Rhode Island and stuff like that, right? And they'd go, "You want a water with a number two?" And I'm thinking that is so strange. They talk like that. Okay, you want a coffee? All right, you want water? Okay. What else would you like? Water? Okay. All right. A number three? Like they talk like this. See, where I come from, where I'm born and raised, when you go to a drive-through, it's like this. You want a water? Okay. A number two? All right. I'll take three burgers with extra pickles on all of them. Okay. Thank you, darling. Something like that. I'm just kind of being a little exaggerated. But then when you go up to the north, uh, did you take a shower? Would somebody close? Okay, when I was look, this is when I knew that I was not in on the loop of their crazy accent. I went to a laundromat over in I think it was in where was that? It was in Massachusetts. So I went to a laundromat to wash my clothes because back then I had no house, so I was carrying all my clothes in my cart. So I get to Massachusetts and I'm sitting in the laundromat and somebody had left the door open and the shop owner or the employee said, "Well, somebody close the door." And I was like, "Did she just say that?" I was thinking to myself, I didn't say nothing. I'm like, "Did she just fucking say, could somebody close the door?" What kind of fucking accent is that? Because I ain't never really heard the accents in like I mean I watched TV, but I didn't think it was actually that fucking strong. Like she said, "Well, somebody close the door." And then I had this friend that talked like this, like wada, wada, and they said shower, shower, shower. When they say cards, they say cards. Shuffle the cards. What was another one? Power. Uh, I don't have any power. The power's out. The power. The power. Like I'm like, what the fuck is kind of accent is that? I was like really shocked by that accent. I was so. I'm telling you, when you get out and you start traveling places, you realize how different people are. Like how different they act. In the South, they would have pronounced that power, shower, water. We don't say like shower, power, car. Like they call a vehicle a car. Car. Go park the car. Like we say, you go park the car. So I'm saying that's how we would say it in the South. Now, when I got out to the West Coast, they're okay. West Coastians, that ain't the right word. uh, West Coastians, aka Arizonans. I think Arizona would be included. Then Nevada. Then you got California, right? They talk like this. Oh my God. You drove all that way? You drove all the way from Georgia to here? Like even the guys sound like they're putting on an accent. And like when I would talk to them, they'd be like, "No way, dude." Like I'm probably doing a horrible, like they sound very valley. And for people that live there, they won't notice it amongst themselves. But as a person born in the South, just like you notice my accent when you hear me, I notice your accent and the way they emphasize everything. The Californians and the West Coast and all that stuff, like they go, "No way." And they talk a little bit more like emphasize, like they put emphasis on their things. You drove all that way? No way. So Like I said, Californians won't notice amongst themselves how they talk. I'll notice it because I'm not from y'all's place. I'll notice it like you notice my accent, I notice yours. So, and like they don't have a, to me, Californians don't really have an accent. They put emphasis on their words. Like there is no distinguishable accent to them, other than like some way. Sometimes they sound a little bit valley. I guess that's what I was told it was called. Like they were like, oh, you're talking about the Valley Girl accent. So some of them do sound very valley. But then again, I've met Californians that don't have any type of accent. They just don't have an accent at all, or not what I can tell. So what? That's most of the women. What? What? You drove all that way? You drove from Georgia? And another thing about LAans, Los Angelinos, is that they think only Los Angeles exists. I'm about to offend a lot of them bitches right now, right? I'm about to finish a lot of them bitches. I'm about to offend a lot of them bitches, all right? I noticed that when I was there and the people that I met, it's like for some reason Los Angeles people live in their own bubble within the LA County limits. It's like they don't really acknowledge other things going on, but what's in LA. Like when I would talk to them, it was all about about events they had to do, what I did for a living. Look, this is how they greet. This is their mating call in California. What do you do for a living? Alaska. By the way, before I die, what do you do for a living? What do you do? You want a number three? Okay, nice. I'll put that on the list. But what do you do for a living? For some reason, everybody asks what I did for a living. It's like everybody's trying to network to see what they can get off of you. That's what I noticed in LA. But then again, I was told that that's mostly transplants that try to make it big out there. The locals won't do that. But I didn't really run into a lot of locals. All I ran into was transplants like me, right? And I noticed I'm like, why do they keep asking me what I do for a living? Like I'd be having a normal conversation or just like a little brief, exchange, and they're sitting there asking me what I do for a living. It's like I thought it was just like one or two, but I noticed everybody I come across would ask what I did for a living. It's like they're trying to network to get ahead of you, and it's so stupid. Like in Las Vegas, they do that. No, they do that in Las Vegas, but it's not as bad as it is in LA. I noticed it's a total difference. So that's what I noticed. And to me, the best accents out there I would say Los Angeles, a London accent or like a Cockney accent. Like the talk like this. Have you got any water? I think I've run out of water. I've got to go to Tesco to get some water. I'm not really sure if I feel like going. I might go a little bit later. Like something like that. I'm probably doing a horrible rendition of it. But they talk like this. I have a friend that's from London. And she talks like this. She goes garage, like instead of garage, it's garage. No, she says garage. And instead of aluminum, she says aluminum, or something. She said something like that. I'm like, what the hell is she was saying one day aluminum, and she made fun of the way I said antibiotics. But she says, did you just call that an antibiotic? I said, yes, I did. She says, you say antibiotics, and she was mocking it. Because they say stuff so differently instead of fries, it's chips. And then when I asked her if she knew what biscuits and gravy, she said, no, what's a biscuits and gravy? She said, what's a biscuit? And I showed her a picture of a biscuit. I sent her a picture. She goes, that's a scone. She said, that's a scone. I said, no, that's a biscuit. And one day I went to Chick-fil-A and I got a biscuit and I sent her a picture of it. She said, oh, did you get a chicken with scone? You got a scone with chicken on it? I'm like, no, that's a biscuit, chicken biscuit. And she goes, what's biscuits and gravy? They don't know what biscuits and gravy is. And as an American, that is a sin. How do you not know what biscuits and gravy is beyond me. Like, she said, no, that's not a biscuit. She said, that's a scone. She said, that's not a biscuit. I said, no, Allison, that is a biscuit. So, and that was a little bit of a shock. Oh, I saw that. And I sent her that clip of the London kids eating biscuits and gravy. That's so Rachel. And she says, and then one of the kids, I shit you not, this is after she was trying to convince me that it was a scone I was eating and not a biscuit, right? So I sent her a clip of that exact clip that well, I don't know if that's the exact one you're talking about, but they had where London British kids were eating biscuits and gravy. And one of the kids verbatim says, well, that's a scone. So they literally think that biscuits are scones. Biscuits to them are the little cookie things. They're like the little, Triscuits, whatever they are. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I watched that and I sent that to Allison. I said, look, he called it a scone too. She said, I know. She said, it's a scone over here. That's not a biscuit. So yeah, vitamins. They do. They say vitamins. We say vitamins. Vitamins. Like, and I told her, I said, try to go over here to McDonald's in America and say, can you get me a scone? They're gonna look at you like, what the hell is that? Or if I tried to go over to London and say, hey, will y'all give me a biscuit? They'll go, what's that? They don't know what a biscuit is. She said, if you tried to order a biscuit over here in London at the McDonald's or whatever the case may be, she said, because we have those things. We have KFC out here. We have McDonald's. They have a lot of the same things, right? And she says, if you come out here try to order a biscuit like that, they won't know what you're talking about. And that shocks me as a fat slut like me that loves starches and biscuits. Anything that puts weight around that puts junk in the trunk or puts weight on that stomach, I'm all about it. And they don't have that over there. That's just crazy to me. I can't imagine going to, when I visit London. I love to have a biscuit. What am I gonna do without a biscuit? What do they have for breakfast over there? I don't. And then she told me beans and toast. Not that they have a. They have not. No, it was not her. It was somebody else. Beans and toast. What in the hell is that? I had never heard the name of beans and toast in my entire life. Literally, British people eat toast with beans on it, like canned beans, like little brown beans, normal. We call it. We don't have that over there. Over here, sorry, over here. I ain't never heard of that in my life until I don't know if it was Allison that said that or if it was somebody else. I can't remember. But I remember they like beans and toast. We don't do beans and toast over here. You know what I'm saying? Julie, did you know about biscuits? I know you're from the UK. Did you know about biscuits? Yeah, she said it was a scone. I said that's not. Then when I looked up that biscuits and gravy clip, I'm like, look, he called it a scone too. And she said, I know, because that's what it is. And then she jokes to me to this day. She said, did you have your scone this morning? I said, no, it's a biscuit. So, um, yeah, thanks for explaining the biscuits. Over here, biscuits are what you call cookies. Like that's crazy to me. If you come to America, y'all London people, and you say to an American, "Will you make me a biscuit?" Let's just say, for example, they said, "Will you make me a biscuit?" For example, if you came over here to America and you went to an American's household and you said, "Can you give me a biscuit or make me one?" What you're going to get as a result, if they actually do it for you, you're going to come out with a big. Let me show you what a biscuit is in America. I'll show you. Because they're not going to hand you a cookie. So if you come to an American household and you say, "Will you make me some biscuits?" You're not going to get a cookie. You're going to get a big, fluffy, starchy, fat-inducing piece of bread like this, like such. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. This refrigerator's got to go. This is the refrigerator that came with the house, and it's so no wonder they didn't take it with them. It sucks. Okay. This is a biscuit right here. That is a biscuit. This is a biscuit. What you do is you put some white gravy on that damn thing, and you're gonna get junk in the trunk and get thick. All right? That's not a scone, Leo lady. That is a biscuit. This is a biscuit. When it gets fluffy, this is just the frozen version of it. That is a biscuit. And we had a big debate over scones and biscuits when I was talking to Allison. She said, that's a scone. It's not a biscuit. I said, no, it's a bit. No, I didn't say it. I said, it's a biscuit. She said, no, that's a scone. Over here, it's a scone. She says, you're eating a scone with chicken. She said, what do you put on the scone? I said, chicken and egg and sometimes cheese, or you'll have a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. She said, they put a sausage and egg on a scone? I said, yeah. And she couldn't process that we eat biscuits with gravy or with eggs and sausage or bacon sometimes. Do y'all have bacon? And then she told me, she says, one time she said, she was trying to give me tips on what to cook. She knows I don't like it. She said, I would love if you ate more home cooked stuff. She said, what you do is go get you some mince meat. And I said, what the hell is that? She goes, you don't have mince meat? I said, I said, describe it. She goes, like burgers or like the meat. I said, ground beef. She says, ground beef? I said, yeah. I said, that's not no damn mince meat. She says, no, it's mince meat. Because she was trying to give me tips on what to eat. Like she says, why don't you eat more home cooked stuff, all this stuff? And she said, go get you some mince meat and all this stuff. And I said, what the hell is mince meat? What is that? I had never heard of mince meat in my life, right? And then we did some research and we realized she was referring to ground beef. I believe that's what it was, ground beef. So it kills me, the difference between the countries. It just kills me. And it also kills me that Queen Elizabeth probably never had a biscuits and gravy in her life. That is a sin. And that is an abomination. So that just kills me. What the hell do y'all eat over for breakfast over there? In America, I ain't never heard no mince meat. When you think over here, I think the equivalent, if I'm not mistaken, because I think me and Allison, I think we figured it out. It was ground beef she was referring to. Ground beef you can put in a cottage pie, or you can cook it and all that stuff. Ground beef is what we use for burgers. But then when I told her that, she said, I think you're talking about minced meat. I said, I don't know. So what the hell is minced meat? Is that what I'm referring? I think it's ground beef. So, well, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all go, all right? I'm just talking about dumb shit at this point. I have nothing else to talk about. And if y'all don't like the topics I talk about, why even watch me? Why even watch me? We have scones, but it's completely different from UK scones. Yeah, that's right. Scones in America, if I'm not mistaken, isn't scones what you get from the coffee shops? Scone to me is like that hard piece of bread, hard piece of like long, it's like triangle shaped. It's not like what they think a scone is. Like scones in America is what you get at coffee shops, like with your coffee. That's what I thought it was. So literally, she thinks I'm talking about a biscuit. Or London British people think I'm talking about, when I say biscuits, they think I'm talking about cookies. No, I'm talking about biscuits, fluffy, bready biscuits, starchy biscuits. But see, a scone to me, if you would have asked me what a scone was, scone is that thing they sell at coffee shops that you have with your coffee. Or coffee, yeah. Like it comes in like different shapes. It's like a little hard piece of like cookie or something like that. That's what a scone is to me. So, but it's crazy the differences. What the hell is minced? Yeah, I think we figured it out. But can't you make ground beef is what I think Alexa, is ground beef mincemeat?
From recidemia.com. Minced meat is another term for meat which has been finely chopped or ground,
Yeah.
like ground beef.
Yes.
But any sort of meat could be used, not just beef. If you're ever looking for cooking inspiration, just ask me to find recipes.
Yes, I was right. Mincemeat is, you just heard Alexa. Mincemeat is ground beef in America. And when she said, you go get you some mincemeat and get you some, she was telling me some recipe. And I told her, I said, what the hell is mincemeat? I'm thinking there's some type of special meat. Then when she started explaining it, I said, oh, you're talking about ground beef. Ground beef. In America, we call that ground beef. You would not hear an American go, I've got to go get some mincemeat for the burgers today. No. You're going to hear Americans say, oh, I got to go get some ground beef. I'm making burgers. That's what we would say. Not what y'all are saying. Do y'all have burgers over there? If y'all don't, then I'm gonna be upset when I visit there, because I'm gonna go the fuck off. All right. So y'all don't have business. You mean to tell me, for you London people, before I end this live, you mean to tell me there's not one place I can go to in London where I can say, I want biscuits and gravies, biscuits and white gravy? Like, you can't go to the McDonald's. You know, McDonald's here sells biscuits in the breakfast. There's nothing else you can get on the McDonald's menu except biscuits in the morning. So one day I'm gonna visit y'all, and I gotta see how different this is. I've heard it's very different. I gotta see this. So it just kills me that there's not one place you can go over in London and say, I'll take a biscuits and gravy with a sweet tea, cookies and gravy. That just kills me. That is so weird to me. All right. With that being said, you all have a good one, and I will talk to you all later. All right. Bye, y'all.